the media, along with different companies and how they market it, have basically gaslit people into believing that this organic labeling is a very good sign of food quality, safety, and that's never what it was about. Like, never what it was about. Dan Glickman, that's what I covered in the video. The most mind-blowing part to that for me was Dan Glickman. He was the Secretary of Agriculture under President Clinton. He was in charge of basically starting organic food labeling. Even after he put it up, finalized the whole process, he told people, this is not a statement about food quality nor safety. This is not what it's about. It's just to build trust with the consumer. He blatantly said that as he was announcing what it is. He's like, this is what it is. The media and companies who marketed it, that's who took it in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even blame the government for that or any governing body that oversees that. It's not their fault. They told us what it was. It was the industry that started shifting it and saying, no, you should be paying almost twice as much for this. It's organic. And people think that means, oh, they don't use chemicals. They don't use pesticides. It has more vitamins and minerals. And none of that's true. Like, the deeper I dove into that, and Mariana, my co-host on my show, is the one who really opened my eyes because she did this huge course on it in college. I almost didn't believe it at first.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's just such an unquestioned belief. You think organic equals healthier.
Yeah.
At least I did for my whole life.
That I used to believe, this is one of my greatest regrets. I used to believe that organic was inherently healthier.
Yeah.
I thought it was more nutritious, but more importantly, I thought it was safer.
Yes.
I thought organic meant early on, I thought it meant pesticide free, which, by the way, would be a big fucking problem if your foods are pesticide free, because good luck getting them unless you're growing them yourself. Like, they're going to be eaten, they're going to be destroyed by insects, animals, whatever. But then I thought, oh, the pesticides they must be safer.
Exactly.
Not true.
Nope.
At all. And I recently started to dive into the individual pesticides. Have you done that at all?
As deep as it sounds like you have, no, but on the surface, I know I reviewed a lot of the commonly shared ones that they use, and specifically what those were and what those did.
Have you heard of, I hope I'm pronouncing it properly, I just read of it, rotenone?
Yes. Could I tell you the function of it? No, but definitely that's on the list.
So rotenone, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deliberately scare the shit out of people and then walk it back so people can have a better understanding of it. So rotenone, it is toxic to fish, insects, and even to mammals, and including humans. It's a toxic pesticide, okay? With chronic exposure, it can kill humans.
Okay.
And it essentially functions by disrupting cellular respiration so that it will essentially kill the organism by suffocating it on a mitochondrial level. That's what it does. Now, it was more or less banned by the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, by 2016, so it was no longer allowed to be used. And it's a pesticide for leafy green vegetables, for fruits and other vegetables. So they completely banned this. But here's the kicker.
Oh, it's not bad yet. You haven't gotten to the bad part.
No, so all that's the bad part. It was banned for non-organic foods. It is allowed to this day by organic foods because it is quote unquote natural. But they never discussed this. So this is an organic pesticide that has all of these potentially negative hazards that is to this day allowed on organic crops, organic foods, because it falls under the natural billboard, the natural claim, but it is not allowed under the non-organic pesticides because of health concerns.
Yeah.
But now I scared the shit out of people. It's only dangerous if it is in doses that exceed safe amounts. It is highly regulated and highly strict, but people who are eating organic, number one, they definitely don't know this. And the same exact marketing or fear mongering that scares them away from eating non-organic, the same exact logic can be used against them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I think the conversation of the dose makes the poison comes in heavy, that people really have a hard time grasping.
Yes.
And I empathize with that, because when you hear all of that, you're like, I don't want any of that near me. I don't care how low the dose is of anything.
Yep.
That's a very, I think, understandable side of the argument. But it's important to understand, because I didn't know that specifically, which blows my mind, and I love it even more. But it happens all the time, where it's not this just he said, she said thing. There's so much data to back this up on organic versus non-organic.
Yep.
They test these foods. They're never more nutritious, more vitamin or mineral dense. They're never safer to consume. They never lead to any other health outcomes. There's so much data. And of course, you get the people who are just stuck in that bubble that you have that. What do they say? Like, you can't reason someone out of an idea they didn't reason themselves into. I think that's where a lot of this comes into, because you can say, here's a lot of, we tested this, right? I understand where you're coming from, but if that was true, look at, like, they did a test. And a lot of those people will just say, the studies are funded by XYZ, even though they're not. That was my favorite comment to do under that video. Side note as well, is I always cite the research in the caption of my posts every single time, right? Because I hate when people just say, oh, there's study this, show me, please. Don't lie. And all the people would comment like, oh, who funded the studies though? Who did that? I'm like, I'm going to guess you didn't check the caption, because you could go look. Like, you could look for yourself if you took 2 extra minutes. And they never would. And it's always just they keep moving the goalposts down the road. But that one blows my mind. And it's not even just to say, like, organic's not bad for you.
Correct.
And that's what I think, again, people will hear one thing and assume that you mean that the opposite is also true. And that's not the case. Organic's not bad for you. It's just to not scare the crap out of people thinking they need to spend 50, 60, 70% more on groceries for a product that's no safer, no more nutritious. If you like the taste of it, cool. And can afford it, awesome. Do it. It's not bad for you. But it was more just to cover, because we just live in a world where people scare each other.
Correct.
They blow it out of proportion, and it's maddening.